off. Hit go. Okay, here we go. So tonight in this round we have we're gonna have Creative Eli versus reBarbaloot in the final match of the first round of this first Swiss round of the Kefka at Narshe tournament, Wherefore Outgal tournament. I am Christopher Warkin. With me for this last match, we have Synth Pop is back. Can't hear you, Synth. Is your mic turned on?
All right, there we go. How's this?
Much better. There we go. Okay, so we have both players running through Narshe. Again, avoiding doing what I just commentated a race, and my mouth is already moving faster than my brain.
Yeah, so you know, at the beginning here, we've got a skip of the second fight. That's pretty important because you don't really need to do it. But then, more importantly, you need to make sure that Vix and Wedge run at the end of every fight that you actually do get into, because we need question mark to get every bit of experience available.
Right, because Vix and Wedge are just dirty experience hogs, and we want question mark to get all of that precious experience.
So it looks like we've got pretty good success on both sides here.
Yeah, and that should help them avoid any extraneous farming, assuming that they're on step routes. I'm not personally familiar with either one of them, so we'll find out if they are on seed manipulation and step routes. Now you'll see both of them attacking the mammoths here because they are tagged with the cannot run tag. So what you'll see is they'll kill them both first, and then wait for Vix and Wedge ATB bars to load up before they go to kill them with Terra with her bio blast in order to get them to run away.
Yeah, I can't say as far as Eli is concerned, but my understanding is that reBarbaloot is not doing the step route on this run. So that may end up hurting him, but we'll see. Anything can happen.
Yep. But we do, and it looks like reBarb got a pincer on some were-rats here. And unfortunately, they are immune to the poison attack of the Bioblast. So it looks like he's just going to cast some magical fire at them. And that allows Creative Eli to catch up and initiate the Welk fight.
Okay, and so according to Riku Player, Eli is going to be using the step route, so this will be interesting to see how it works out. As long as reBarbaloot gets, you know, good luck, he could be okay. And as long as Eli stays on the step route, you know, he could be okay too. It's not hard to fall off of it though, so we'll see.
Yeah. So it looks like Wedge ate the slime there, so at least it's not Terra. But looks like Eli is going to be going for the quick kill, using some weight tricking to manipulate Welk's ATB gauge, but looks like he misses it and Welk gurus and hides in his shell. And that'll give reBarb some time to catch up.
Yeah, reBarbaloot also got Vix on the slow, so both of them are in pretty good position here. reBarbaloot also missing the quick kill. From what I can see of his splits, it appears that he did get that on the PB, but that'll be all right. Eli is done with Welk, while reBarbaloot is still waiting on it to come out of the shell.
But should be able to kill it here on this next tech missile. Oh, nope, not quite enough. It's going to heal first, and then should kill it here real quick. There we go. There's the lightning crackle.
All right, so now we actually have a race going.
Judging by the splits here that we can see on their individual streams, it looks like their PBs are within about a minute of each other, so they should have a pretty good race, assuming. But with Barbaloot missing the Welt quick kill, we could be in for a good solid race here.
Yeah, that actually does put them kind of on even footing, right? Eli's PB appears to be like a minute and 7 or a minute and 5 seconds over reBarbaloot's, but obviously reBarbaloot had the slower Welt kill. And yes, as Riku player pointed out in the chat, this is in fact the final match of round 1.
That, and with reBarb not running the step route, that could also put a significant impact on the time.
For sure, we have TA as the question mark on Eli's side. Let's see if reBarbaloot can get the right name in here.
Meanwhile, reBarbaloot does properly rename Terra down to just T. And that'll save him quite at least a few seconds on the run. With all those frames being saved for the dialogue.
So you see Eli's fighting these monsters here instead of just running to get to the next kind of event trigger. Before you get to that event trigger, we need Terra to be level 6 so that Locke starts at, I believe, level 7. But that sets up everybody else being a higher level later on to facilitate some skips that we'll see later.
Yeah, this little tiny bit of extra grinding now allows you to do quite a little bit of running away later on. So, little time now saves a lot of time later.
And there's level 6.
Yep, Eli dinged level 6.
Looks like reBarbaloot's got at least one more fight to go. And Eli is in for a little bit of, I don't know, a couple minutes worth of cutscene here. And reBarbaloot did hit level 6, so he'll trigger the fall down the hole.
Yeah, and so he's at, I would say, most maybe 5 or 10 seconds behind. So yeah, they're going to be, actually looking at it, I'd say about 5 seconds behind at most. And in these cutscenes, we learn just a little bit about the origin of Terra, at least from the Imperial perspective.
So we've got Kefka training her to kill hundreds and hundreds of soldiers. And he will soon, I believe, or maybe he has, I can't remember, he'll put a slave crown on her head, which is what the old man just took off of her.
Yep, the old crowning quote-unquote ceremony where he puts the slave crown on her, and then the training of her in her Magitech armor. And now we meet the infamous thief, treasure hunter, Locke, better known to us in this run as L.
So in this upcoming sequence, you're going to see that Moogles will come to help Locke save Terra, and we need to switch to Mog's party, remove his equipment, and then you skip all the way down to the Marshal at the very end. We don't use Locke in that scenario, or in that segment at all. Just enough to get him out of the way. And Mog's equipment, he's got a mithril pike and a mithril shield. The shield isn't all that important, although it is nice to have, but the pike in particular is useful for a character we'll have later on.
Yeah, the pike is the real goal there. The shield, if you can grab it, is just gravy. But the bypassing of all the extraneous fights is achieved. What you'll see, theoretically, is they'll walk past them while the little wolf soldiers have their leg extended, and that's what allows you to bypass them while they're walking. And we'll see if Eli and reBarb can pull it off. Looks like Eli gets the first one. And the second. And so he goes into his martial fight. Eli getting both the pike and the shield. And it looks like reBarb bypassed his first fight and the second, so he'll be heading into his martial fight as well.
That stop on Mog for reBarbaloot is going to hurt a lot. I mean, that means he's probably not going to be able to get the equipment off of him, so he'll have to buy 2 pikes later on, and he'll be short that shield. And this will take long. This is, you know, Mog does a considerable amount of damage on his first hit when he still has his equipment.
Yeah, even without the pike, Mog still deals a significant portion of the damage. So with that net hitting him, yeah, this is going to be a bit of time loss. Oh, the stuff came off and he managed to stick him a good one.
We'll see if he still bothers trying to take the items off of him, though. Looks like he is. Yeah, he is. All right. That could potentially get you into some money issues later if you don't take that and you get unlucky on some drops.
Yeah, but it looks like at this point, reBarbaloot is probably close to almost a minute behind.
Let's see. Eli left the cave when he had 1420 on his clock. reBarbaloot maybe 1450 or a little bit more. Yeah, so he is close to a minute behind, but that can be made up easily. A minute at this point is basically nothing.
Yeah, this early in the run, there's still a lot of RNG to be had, still plenty of mistakes to be made by either runner. This is still anyone's race. They're still practically neck and neck at this point.
So, as we'll see on Eli's stream, he's going to walk up here and talk to the King of Figaro. And then he's got a couple of little cutscene segments to go through while reBarbaloot makes his way to the castle.
Oh, and him being off the step route is costing him at this point. He's getting some extra battles. And in the desert, where if he's unlucky, he'll get stopped. But he does make it into the castle successfully.
So we've got King Ed, it seems, on Creative Eli's side. We'll see what reBarbaloot comes up with for a name. And now Eli's got to go talk to... There's an outbuilding on the left side of the castle, and he has to go talk to the matron over there to learn about Ed's brother.
And reBarb just meeting King E.
King E and his brother Sab. Sorry, King Ed and his brother Sab. So Eli's going to go talk back to King Ed, which will trigger another scene, while reBarbaloot goes and talks to the matron.
And here in the run, we have the first appearance of the Psycho Clown Mage, General Kefka. Yelling at the poor soldiers to get the sand off his boots. Whereas reBarbaloot has just learned of E's younger brother S, and is now going back to talk to the king.
And so now Eli's going to have to take Terra over to kind of the mirror side, the right outbuilding, to her room, where they will await. I'm not really sure what they're waiting for, except for Kefka to do his business. So, I mean, still pretty much neck and neck here, right? reBarbaloot is about to go to Terra's room. We're still looking at, I think less than a minute difference, maybe a little bit more, minute and a half or something like that. Those extra fights did definitely cost reBarbaloot.
Yeah, and meanwhile on Eli's stream, we find that Kefka has used fire to set a stone castle on fire. We're going to call that magic fire, because otherwise I don't see how we could set stone on fire.
But as we can see, King Ed is perfectly prepared for this kind of situation. He knows that Kefka is going to set his castle on fire, and so he's prepared. Yeah, it's a good thing that none of his subjects need oxygen.
Yeah, because even magical fire can be put out by a lack of oxygen. Yet his subjects can't be. That's kind of handy.
So Eli needs to make sure that he doesn't cast any magic with Terra at this point, not until they get to Mount Colts, because that'll trigger like a 40-second cutscene where Locke and Edgar argue or talk about Terra having magical powers, and they swoon, and it takes a long time. Luckily, these two Magitech armors can be taken out with 2 volleys from Ed's auto crossbow.
Yeah, and yeah, if you haven't played the game casually, it's a cool little cutscene. Takes about 40 seconds, and in a run like this, that's a lot of time. But if you're playing the game casually, something I do highly recommend that you cast a fire or a cure, especially during this little cutscene, or that battle in particular, and watch it. It's kind of funny to watch Edgar and Locke freak out.
It is very cute, especially because up to this point, it's very possible for Locke to have seen Terra casting magic, and then he has no idea what it was. He's kind of oblivious on this. She said that she can't remember anything, and he freaks out and asks her, yells at her and asks if she has amnesia. Which is, the very definition of what she just said to him. So there's another quick little scene here before you get control of the chocobos on the world map, where they, again, talk about these things. And even though they mention her use of magic, and until you get to Mount Colts, I believe if you have her use any spells in battle, it'll trigger that cutscene. They're surprised by something that they already know.
Yeah,
according to B Sharp Major, they... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, go ahead.
Well, according to B Sharp Major in the chat here, they have stores of Oxy Ale. I guess they've got a time traveling machine too.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it's one thing to know about something, and it's another thing to see it entirely.
That's true. They could have been thinking that she was going to pull a rabbit out of a hat or whatever, and instead she throws fireballs. That would be pretty surprising. So a quick pass through this cave here for Eli. Later on, we'll see a little bit more of this cave as Locke goes through it, again in reverse. But at this point, they're just trying to get to South Figaro for the sole purpose of buying sprint shoes, and then they'll be on their way to the next section of the game.
Yep, and in this cave, it's a pretty good idea to fight just about everything, because it'll all die with one quick round from Edgar's auto crossbow. And
the occasional Bleary, I believe, won't get killed by it, but as long as Locke and Terra have queued up a fight, it should be okay.
Yeah, if Edgar rolls real low, pretty much his minimum damage, it won't kill the Blearies. But pretty much through the entirety of this run, Edgar is one of our main damage sources. So he's kind of the MVP of this run.
It's a toss-up between him and his brother, I think. You do have Sabin for a considerable amount more than you have Edgar during this run.
Well, that's mostly because Sabin's scenario is just absurdly long compared to the other two.
Eli taking a slight detour up to the house before going over to the cave, but that's all right. Cost him a couple seconds that hopefully reBarbaloot can take advantage of.
It looks like Eli following the most basic rule of the Mount Colts area. Fight it if it's on the outside, run away from it if it's on the inside.
Right, and Eli is taking another quick detour. This one is intentional, to go up and grab an Atlas armlet, which will make Ed even more of a badass.
Yep, those Atlas armlets increase your physical damage by 25%, and that auto crossbow does physical damage from the back row with no row damage reduction. So Edgar can be in the back row and do full damage from the back row with that auto crossbow. So that just makes him just even more of a badass. And over on reBarbaloot's stream, we do see he's entered Mount Colt, so he's right on Eli's tail. That little detour cost him a significant portion of his lead.
It looks like reBarbaloot also picked up a star pendant, which I'm a big fan of this safety strat. Allows you to not have to worry about antidotes or casting antidote if somebody gets poisoned here, or especially in Locke's scenario later. It's really nice to just be able to pop a star pendant on them and be done with it.
Yeah, you're able to save Terra's MP for casting fire in the Vargas fight.
Eli skipping the save point and going straight on to Vargas. We'll see if reBarbaloot does the same.
Yeah, not a tactic I'm fond of. I highly recommend taking those safety saves, especially if you're new to the run.
Yeah, I probably tend to be a little too safe on the saves with this, but I've been burned in the past, and the saving doesn't take all that long. But definitely saving. I like to save before Vargas and before entering the Returner's hideout at least.
Yeah, the Returner's hideout save can probably be skipped, but you get burned by that one NPC one time, and you have to reset all the way back to Vargas, or further back if you didn't save there, and you'll never skip that save again.
Yeah, if either of them get extremely unlucky on this, they will pretty much have to restart from the very beginning.
I missed it. Did Barbaloot skip the safety save as well?
Yeah, he did. That is to say, assuming also that they don't save before entering the returner's hideout. But both of them have skipped this one so far. It's also important to note that at this point we need to get the levels that you want Edgar, Locke, and Terra to be at are 10, 9, and 8 respectively, which will put your average party level at 9, which allows Sabin to join it at 11. So he'll already know Suplex, which is important for later, and also just generally be a higher level, which is obviously a good thing.
Higher levels
so it generally takes
more stats.
Right. And it generally is, I believe, two levels for Terra and 1 each for Locke and Edgar. So, Eli seems to be ready. He's curing up everybody, and he's got a couple of casts of fire.
Yeah, but he did below the magical 20, magical number of 20 for Terra's MP, so he won't have quite enough MP to cast fire through the entire battle like he should.
Yeah, he'll have to rely a little bit on her fighting.
So that'll be just a little bit of a time loss. And that's where reBarbaloot might just catch up. Depending on how the stepper out in RNG treats him.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably... Oh, no, he's using items to heal, so he may end up keeping that 20 MP on Terra.
Yeah, reBarbaloot is getting ready to start his Vargas fight after just a little bit of dialogue, so yeah, he's made up some significant time.
Yeah, and so you need to be able to kill these Ipus before you can actually touch Vargas. And it looks like Eli has triggered the next section of the fight where Sab will come in and save the party from Vargas's ultimate attack. Vargas, I don't know if you've noticed this before, but Vargas, I don't think he ever says anything without screaming it. He's a very aggro person. I think he needs to chill a little bit. And reBarbaloot is now in the Vargas phase as well.
Yeah, Eli entered the second phase at 21, and reBarbaloot entered it at 46. So it was about 25 seconds behind. So he's made up about 30 seconds or more on this run. So good job to him.
Yeah, he seems determined to make this a good race.
And that's exactly what we want to see is a good solid race. We want to see it neck and neck to the very end.
So reBarbaloot has also triggered the second phase of this. You just need a quick pummel on Vargas, and that'll end the fight for good. And then some more talking, and you eventually get control of everybody again, back out onto the world map.
Yeah, the important note is once you reach this part of the Vargas battle where Sab or Sabin or S comes in, all you have to do is just go in, hit Blitz, hit him with the pummel, and fight over. Doesn't matter how much damage it does. And Eli making a break for the returner's hideout and getting a fight on the way there, and just running from that as well.
Yeah, I generally think at this point, for me at least, I don't do any random encounters after this point that reBarbaloot and Vargas and Eli are at. I'd run from every random encounter from here on. I know there are definitely specific encounters that you want to try to get if you can to boost Edgar's level, like on the Leet River, but I'd rather just run from everything and deal with it that way.
Yeah, there's just one battle on the Leet River that you want to get. It's the two pterodons. that to get Edgar up to level 11. But beyond that, as far as I can remember, right off the top of my head, you pretty much run from everything for the rest of the run, other than the required forced battles.
All right, so Eli did take the save outside of the returner's hideout and then grabbed the potion in Bannon's room. He's moving on to the next section. reBarbaloot got into another fight, of course, on the way up. Hopefully he will not get screwed by that one soldier who was walking around on the inside.
Yeah, we'll see if reBarbaloot takes his safety save.
All right, so here for Eli, he needs to talk to Locke, Edgar, and Sabin to trigger the next part of the fight, or the next part of the game. But there is also a treasure room that's got some useful items in it that we'll see if they pick them up.
Most specifically, a couple of Phoenix Downs.
Yeah, you definitely need the Phoenix Downs, but there's also a True Knight, an Antidote, and a Tincture up there.
Yeah, the True Knight is specifically used in Sabin's scenario for the retort glitch.
I forgot about that.
The air
lancet as well. That'll be a useful thing for Shadow to throw later.
Yeah, it makes it easier, but it's definitely not required.
Frankly, I skip that room myself. I don't. I usually am trying to make up time, so I try to cut out any optional things if I can.
Yeah, and here we see Eli denying Bannon 3 times. And that's to skip. That accomplishes 2 things. Number 1, it gets you a Genji glove over a gauntlet here, and that's for Edgar later on at the battle at Narshe. And that also bypasses a fairly lengthy strategy session cutscene.
Yeah, that scene where they're all sitting around the table talking about the War of the Magi, I believe, is close to a minute, 40 seconds, 40 seconds or a minute, something like that. You definitely want to skip that. And it just happens that the Genji Glove is a very useful item for Edgar later on. That's why we wanted the Mithril Pike, because we put one on him, and then we buy another one to put on him to maximize his damage output at the end.
Yeah, there are some people who don't buy the second Mithril Pike and instead choose to enter the Moogle and grab that Rune Edge. And we'll see which strategy these runners take. But that's still probably about an hour into the future. Well, probably closer to about 50 minutes.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a trade-off in getting that Rune Edge because it forces you to take some extra walking steps, right? But depending on how your luck would have been on the regular route, you might have gotten in enough fights that it balances out anyway. So without the step route, it's possible that it'll actually be a time save. Now we see on Eli's side, he's setting up a manipulation for this Elite River that we were talking about to get the 2 Pterodon fight as the second fight that you get. And then there are only 2 on the river if you do this right. You need that soldier to be on the bottom right of the carpet, and then you walk out, and that should do it. He'll have 2 fights, one that he runs from and one that he does, or that he completes, and that should get Edgar to level 11.
Yeah, and so he's going to run from this side, and it's the 2 Pterodon fight that he's going to complete. And what he's going to want to do is make sure that he gets everybody to run from that fight except for Edgar, so that Edgar gets just a metric buttload of experience. And here's that fight now, and let's see if he does it correctly. Yeah, he's got. Yep, there he goes. He's got the setup. So, yep, Edgar should hit level 11 here.
And so that one level doesn't seem like much, but I believe it's a good 15 or 20 damage per hit later on for Edgar. The difference between him being at 10 and 11. No, that's actually a Gestal Imperial butt ton unit. There is no metric in this world.
And we do see reBarbaloot on the Elite River now, and he ran from that to Pterodon fight. He's going to make up a little bit of time now, but that may end up costing him some time later on. But he's going to get the fight again, not being on the manipulated step route. But he's just going to continue to run from the fights. Oh, okay, there we go. Ban was left all by his lonesome, and that's dangerous.
Yeah, especially in that configuration, that could be a disaster if you get really unlucky. And now Eli is going to come up on the fight with Ultros, I believe.
It's everybody's favorite octopus, Uncle Ulti.
Don't tease the octopus, kids.
I don't know why everyone dislikes him so much. He just wants a hug.
And look at him. He's grinning. He's so friendly.
So Eli entered this fight at 42:35. We'll see how much time has been swapped when reBarbaloot enters the fight.
That was 41:35, right?
Yes, 41:35. My apologies. Oh, Terra goes down. That'll end up costing him some time.
Looks like we're going to be, yeah, it looks like reBarbaloot's about a solid minute exactly behind. A little bit more. Oh, and he gets into another fight. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah,
I forgot his name.
Yeah, he's not on the step route with the seed manipulation. So at this point, reBarbaloot's a good solid minute, almost minute and a half behind.
If he gets extremely lucky here, Terra might get a Riot Blade off, and that could cut off a significant amount of this time. He's done it to me in a race, so we'll see if he can do it again.
And here we see Eli heading towards Saban's scenario, as is tradition.
The other two scenarios can be done in whatever order, but Saban's scenario needs to be done first because you need to get smoke bombs at the end of it that you can use to skip all the rest of the fights for the rest of this run. Unfortunately, no Riot Blade from reBarbaloot, so he's got a little bit more fight in him before he can continue on. And there we go.
Yeah, he was getting dangerously close to death there on Bandit, so it's a good thing he got the fight over with.
So now that Eli's recruited the Mysterious Ninja, and bought some. I'm actually not sure if he bought anything from the merchant, but they head down to an Imperial camp.
Buy anything. But it looks like we're heading into camp cutscene here.
So we'll be in this area for a good 12 minutes or so while there's a lot of cutscene stuff going on. Kefka's got a horrible evil plan that he's going to execute. And then there's a little bit of fighting to go on.
It's not a horrible evil plan. Camp Counselor Kefka just wants to make everyone his famous Kool-Aid.
Oh, that purple river Kool-Aid.
It's to die for.
All right, so Eli, we're about to meet a new character here. The probably most boring character in this part of the run, at least in this incomplete run of the game. He's slow. He doesn't do a great amount of damage, and he's got pretty bad equipment restrictions. But he's one of the better things that you've got going right now. So it'll be useful to put sprint shoes on Cyan right now. You also move the battle speed up to 1 so that this fight with the leader, I believe his name is. Yes, the leader takes as little time as possible. He's going to go in, do the level 2 sword tech, which is a counter attack, and then wait for the leader to attack him, and that'll end the fight. And that retort will be useful later on as well. It's very important for this run.
Yep. Yeah, that will activate a pretty important time-saving glitch in the Barren Falls fight.
Eli got the rare steel of a Phoenix down. The common steel is a much more useful item, the black belt. Not particularly useful in this run, but in a complete run or a casual playthrough of this game, the black belt's obviously much better than the Phoenix down.
Well, the black belt is actually fairly useful, especially when you're on step route, so you can sell it for cash, so you can make sure to get that mithril pike and plenty of smoke bombs.
Yeah, so that is the bad luck that I was talking about before that could end up costing some people money troubles is getting that Phoenix down instead of the black belt that you want. It's not useful in the fact, or in the sense that you don't actually equip it usually, but. And that's the last we'll see of General Leo. reBarbaloot is well on his way to killing the leader and moving along. Still pretty close here. I think he's lost a little bit more time, but we'll see. Nobody's had catastrophic bad luck or made a catastrophic mistake yet, so this is still anybody's game.
Yeah, the major time difference here is going to be reBarbaloot not on the step route, whereas Eli is.
Yeah, the Velt is probably going to cost reBarbaloot a fair amount of time. But the step route doesn't guarantee that that Gao will show up, right?
Yeah, the two major RNGs of this run are going to be when and where Gao shows up and Serpent Trench. And here you see Eli stripping down Shadow to Justice Skivvies and giving him a knife to kill stuff with. And that's just for the gear to give Zabin.
And now we see Kefka's plan come to fruition. The river turns purple. And then everybody in Doma dies. And we're not sure why, because it doesn't appear that any of them are actually drinking. And if they were, I doubt they would be drinking from the river.
Well, this is
But
the
for
start
reasons
of the
they all
Industrial
die.
Revolution, so maybe they haven't invented water filtration yet.
I suppose Dr. Jon Snow hasn't been born in this world yet.
Oh no, the king is dead. Now we must see who else is alive. Turns out, nobody except for Cian and this one guard.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to find out what that one guard was doing to not die when everybody, literally everybody else, including the child who was asleep, somehow in bed, died of water poisoning.
Yeah. I'm also kind of curious what happens to the guard afterwards. Does he just eventually get slaughtered by the Empire as Cian escapes? Or does he escape too? What happens to him? I'm kind of curious.
My best guess is maybe he sticks around and becomes Rexol. I'm really not sure what happens to him. I think they just kind of ignore him from then on.
Yeah, that's probably what happens. Or he dies, you know, when Kefka, you know, splits the planet into 1,000 pieces.
Xcodes brings up a good point in chat. We are not certain at all that Sentry, that the Doma Sentry was not an Imperial spy. He maybe knew about it the whole time. So in this little sequence here, Cian is obviously in a rage because his family's been killed. You just have to talk to him 3 times, complete the fights, and then that'll continue on with the story. And assuming he cooperates here, since you don't have control of him, he can sometimes do annoying things like fight instead of using his sword techs. reBarbaloot entering the same sequence where he has to do these 3 fights. So, you know, again, time's still pretty close. And so again, another couple quick fights here on Eli's side. We'll see him out of this camp and on his way to the Phantom Forest. This whole sequence is cutscene dialogue and fights for 12 minutes straight. There's not a lot that goes on. Scripted fights, I mean.
Yeah, they're pretty scripted, pretty simple, just real quick. Nothing super special about them.
Sabin is on the most circuitous route back to Narshe. He's got to go south, all the way southeast to the end of this peninsula before he can finally make it back to the north. Everybody else just kind of goes straight there, but he's got to find all these friends and fight all these extra fights and have all this sad stuff happen.
Talk about going the long way around. Meanwhile, reBarbaloot is just now getting ready to escape camp cutscene. Wow, my brain is turning off.
Yeah, it looked like he was doing a little bit of kind of item management during some spell animations in these fights. I don't know that that's going to actually save him any time, because there's going to be a good point that you can do it later on without losing any time. But it's good to get it out of the way now, I guess.
Yeah, during spell animations or during the morning scene is kind of half a dozen of one, 6 of the other.
And Eli appears to be locked on this train. I don't know that he's going to be able to get out. We'll see.
Yeah, and he's getting slowed down by those ghost sprites. This might give reBarb the time he needs to catch up.
Oh, how convenient. They only locked one door. So that's Eli forcing another fight, I believe, to stay on the step route. Is that right?
I believe so. Yep, that's exactly it. At the end of the second car. They need to force the second encounter to stay on step route.
Okay, and he made a little bit of a mistake here. He walked too far past this train door. You just have to enter this train door and then do a quick fight to trigger the next little cutscene. Although, for all I know, that might actually be on the step route. I'm not sure.
Yeah, according to the step route, you walk 2 steps north and then talk to the ghost. I didn't catch if he walked 2 or 3. And reBarb finally getting himself onto the onto the train here, so he's probably a good several seconds behind. A good, I would say, minute or two behind. Him not being on step route is starting to cost him.
Eli has reached the magical switch that has multiple functions, one of which is to detach the last or the back half of the train. And then the second of which is to open this door.
And he's taking a safety save here, which is I highly recommend.
Yeah, there are a lot of fights that you can get into, especially outside, like bomb, pincer attacks from bombers or from bombs that can end up killing your party if you're not careful. A good safety save there. Yep.
Yeah, just a little bit of bad RNG, especially if you accidentally get off step rock and really hamper you. Yep, and here's one of them bomb attacks. So if he blazes or... Yep, okay, good, he got away.
Now we're going to pick up Sab's version of the Atlas armlet, the earrings. Those boost damage from magical attacks, which luckily most of Sabin's blitzes are magical attacks, so that'll be important for boosting his damage, especially later on in the game.
Yeah, pretty much everything, the suplex included, but the suplex and the R bolt both do. Well, no, the suplex does physical damage, but the R bolt, which he'll use all near for the rest of the run, is magical damage. So those earrings will boost that damage, and we'll see here if Eli validates his run and takes the train down to Suplex City. Yep, looks like he did. Run validated.
Nice little bit of swag there from Eli before throwing out the Phoenix down. Now you need these 2 Phoenix downs, right? You get one, or actually you get both of them in the Returner's hideout, and you need one for the fight with this Phantom train, and you need one 5 minutes from now, if that, 3 minutes from now. So that's why reBarbaloot in particular is not resurrecting Cyan. He doesn't need to, and in fact, he needs the Phoenix Downs more than he needs Cyan alive right now.
Yeah, with Seeing Dead, I highly doubt that reBarbaloot will suplex the train, just as a safety precaution. Yeah, reBarbaloot's getting a lot of random counters and eating a lot of demis. And that's just more time gone, making this gap wider and wider. Oh, but he does validate his run and takes the train down to Suplex City before killing the train with the Phoenix down.
That was a risky move, but I like it.
He's got swag.
As long as right, as long as the Phantom train doesn't toot at you, you're generally pretty safe there.
Yeah, that was some good RNG there.
So now we see Eli taking advantage of the fact that time is still running during this even when you're in the menu in this section here. So he's doing a little bit of menuing to set up his equipment and set up his item menu in particular.
Yep, that's what we refer to as the morning scene, where we're just waiting on Sam to get out some of his grief over seeing his dead wife and child board the Phantom Train to the other side. Press F to pay respects.
This fight that Eli got in can be pretty dangerous sometimes. These Grasshoppers can berserk your characters, and if you're not careful, that can end up costing you a lot of time. It looks like he got, he killed the one on the right and then was able to get away without any adverse effects, but that was not a fun thing to see. The fact that he got into the 2 consecutive pincer attacks, even if he does them perfectly, that's still going to cost him some time.
Yeah, and the fact that Cian got berserked, that's just double bad juju. Well, he got one out, 2 out, and waiting for the 3rd.
It's 2 misses on the takedown from Eli. I'm not really sure. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Okay, so what Eli's doing here is removing all of Cyan's defensive equipment because in this next fight that's coming up, and that'll help him facilitate a very important skip from a very generally dangerous boss if you're not careful. We just don't want to fight it at all. If we can avoid fighting it, we do. So he needs to kill Cyan during this fight. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is the retort glitch that I mentioned earlier. What happen is that he will kill Cyan, and then Phoenix down that he has, and with that True Knight he has equipped on Sabin, that will prevent Cyan from dying again after he's been rezzed. And then he'll use Suplex on the last Piranha, which is a physical attack. And with Retort, it will glitch out, and which is a magical attack, and which glitches the game into thinking because it's been hit with the magical and physical attack in the same turn, it will glitch out and fight over. No Rise of Pass. So it's a glitch on top of a glitch on top of a glitch. Hooray, early 90s programming.
Well, I am perfectly willing to excuse the mistakes that were made in this game, considering how very perfect it is in all other respects. There are numerous glitches, and they can be game-breaking, but they're still fun.
Of course, that no program is perfect. That's why we have day 1 patches in current games.
Looks like the retort glitch went smoothly for Eli, and we're about to see reBarbaloot attempt it himself. Eli, on the other hand, is now meeting the second to last character, Gao, the namesake of our tournament, who runs off because he's scared.
Yeah, he's a dirty, filthy little kid. My first several playthroughs of this game, way back when, I got him, used him when I absolutely had to, and then shoved him off in a corner and forgot about him intentionally. Most of the time, I never even got him back in the World of Ruin. I
usually get him back, but I still don't use him. He's got some interesting cutscenes later on, especially in the World of Ruin, but I still just don't like it. This is an unfortunate formation for Eli here. He's going to have to kill this Lobo and one of the guards. This is a repeat of, I think, the third fight or fourth fight that you do in Narshe at the very beginning. But before he can run, he's got to kill those two.
And at that point,
yeah, you might as well just kill them. Yep, sorry.
Nah, no worries. So in here, he's going to run in, buy some dried meat to attract the little kid. Feed it, it's probably its first decent meal in a long time. Ooh, grasshoppers. This one can be dangerous because if you get berserked and Gao happens to show up, you'll automatically just smack him and Gao runs off.
Yeah, and depending on as long as not both characters get berserked here, it can be okay. It's still fiddly and it'll cost you a lot of time, but you can wait for the berserked character to kill the last grasshopper and then have the non-berserked character feed Gao before anything bad happens. But again, that wastes time.
Oh, Eli gets lucky. But it looks like... nope. Oh, yeah, it looks like reBarbaloot found Gao before Eli did, but he didn't have the dried meat, so he had to smack him. One of the dangers of not being on the step route, but... yeah, that's just RNG for you. But of course, now he's gonna get all the way down to Crest Mountain and have to grind him out looking for him.
I like the aggression from reBarbaloot, suplexing Gao when he showed up when he wasn't wanted. That's actually fantastic.
Just a
pound
little
that
bit
kid
of
into the
extra
ground.
suplex swag.
reBarbaloot getting Gao on the first try here, so they're both basically in this segment where you've got a lot of talking.
Yeah, this is a good 40-second to minute mini cutscene. And it looks like that you know, reBarbaloot's just basically the length of this cutscene behind.
Assuming he gets good luck on the way down to the cave, that could work out just fine for him.
Yeah, and then even depending on the RNG of Serpent Trench, he could take the lead. And we have Kappa, so get those Kappas in chat. Spam them if you got them. The one thing I do like about the Velvet, though, is it's got some of the best music, and this soundtrack is loaded with amazing music.
I love that it doesn't change when you get into a battle. It really, lets you know where you are. It's great.
Yeah, that's the best part.
All right, so reBarbaloot has summoned the Kappa as well. Again, he's right behind, so we'll see what's going on here. It is still, I think, under a minute difference right now. And yeah, this is another good spot for a safety save. There are encounters in the Serpent Trench that can wipe you, and there's not really a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, especially if you get pincered attacked. There's just not a whole lot you can do about it. Oh, and reBarbaloot getting that same pincer attack that Eli got. But it looks like he got it dealt with much, much quicker.
Yeah, having Gal there definitely helped.
Especially since he was able to take 2 out in 1 hit. With that Brawler Rage.
All right, so yeah, Eli is now, he's got 3 people wearing a single diving helmet. I'm not really, I think they must have like straws that they've put up into the neck of it that they're breathing through. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but in any case, that allows them to breathe underwater.
I don't understand it either. Either that or it's really oversized or something, I don't know. So here's the Serpent Trench. You're going to want to take the first right and the second left. So that way you spend as little time in here as possible. And this is the one point where it's actually beneficial to have see and die, because everyone has their own hidden run ATB. So so in order for a character to run, you have to have both a full regular ATB and their hidden run ATB full. Cian, being the old honorable samurai that he is, he just refuses to run. So his run ATB fills up the slowest. And Eli gets Cian dead, so that will actually help him in the long term. Well, the short term anyway.
Yeah, coming up. Okay, reBarbaloot's in a bit of a dangerous position here. He's got a single Anguiform fight, which can actually cast Aqua Rake, and that's the one that I was saying before was potentially dangerous. But a quick Aura Bolt will take care of it, just to be sure. Creative Eli, on the other hand, is headed up towards Nakia. He's got a little bit of shopping to do there, and then he'll be done with this scenario. It looks like that's going to be a pretty solid PB for him, or time save for him on this segment.
Except he spends a little bit of time running into the wall and trying to figure out what's going on.
Then we see Eli buying the all-important smoke bombs because he doesn't want to do any fights with Terra in Terra scenario or lock scenario if he can avoid them.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be skipping purchasing the second Mithril Pike. So we'll see him run into the Moogle Den, or at least we should see him running into the Moogle Den and picking up that Rune Edge. Okay, and he's going to be doing lock scenarios second, which in a casual playthrough is actually relatively long. But in this run, it's really, really short. So what you'll see him do is equip some excuse me, some sprint shoes, and then he's going to do a guard skip here. So he's going to menu, hold right, and there he did. And just occupy the same square as the guard and just run right by him.
reBarbaloot is picking up the Mithril Pike, and I guess the remainder of his money is going to be spent on those smoke bombs. He's got one less than Eli, and I don't think that's going to matter at all. He might have to do a fight, maybe. Or he might have to run from a fight. We'll see.
Yeah, usually, as long as you've got 11 smoke bombs, you should be fine. And both of them have more than that, so I don't anticipate it being much of a problem.
We also saw Eli put Locke into the second slot, which is important because if he gets into this fight with the Gold Bear and the Primordite, where it's a pincer attack, that Gold Bear can use a move called Gouge on him, and if he's not facing him, it can kill Locke. So you put him in the second row so that he's facing the left in the event of a pincer attack, and he's a little bit more safe. It's one of those things, again, it's not really that big of a deal until it happens to you the one time and you just never want it to happen again. Now he's picked up the Thunder Rod, and that's going to be very crucial, the only way possible to get through this. We'll see why in a second.
And we see reBarb has correctly performed the guard skip on the first try, so congrats to him as well. And he's heading back into that cave to South Figaro, or from South Figaro at this point.
Now Locke seems to be hearing voices. There's somebody named Kutan talking to him. Still in this fight, and actually right now this person doesn't even have a name. But we'll see that he uses the Thunder Rod on Tunnel Armor, which bypasses defense, casts a level 2 magic, and instantly kills it.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you didn't take a bio break, because that's Locke's scenario.
I believe on most people's splits, this is by a fair margin the shortest segment, including like the beginning, the Welk. It is shorter than fighting the Welk.
Yep. So now we move on to Tara and Edgar's scenario, and they're just going to smoke bomb out of every single fight, with the exception of any preemptive or side attacks that they get in the Narshe caves, because for those it's actually faster to run. And here you see reBarbaloot here entering his tunnel armor fight. Personally, I like to think that it's General Kutan riding a big honking over-engineered motorcycle, and there it goes. And that was the fight. Hope you didn't blink.
In the meantime, Eli is making his way back through Narshe the way that Locke and Tara entered it, or left it, sorry. He's going into Narshe the way that Locke and Tara left it in the first place. He's got a very unfortunate pincer attack here with some bad ATB starting out, but he's able to get out of it.
Yeah,
and
that's
starting
why
up the
smoke bombs. Sorry.
It's no problem. Yeah, that is absolutely why you buy the smoke bombs. reBarbaloot's back into Terra scenario now, so pretty soon he'll be entering Narshe as well.
And Eli successfully skips the security system. Once you get that light, all you got to do is hold up and A, and the timing of it will just automatically give you the right land you on the right right light.
Yeah, I suppose that correct light actually acts as an NPC, and so like in every other situation, you can hold A when you walk up to it, and it'll talk to it on the first possible frame. It looks like Eli is going for the rune edge. He's going through the Moogle cave right now. Let's hope he doesn't get any Moogles in his way. Like, well, he's got a couple.
Yeah, he got NPC locked for a little bit, but he got his rune edge and he's headed out.
I've seen it before where a Moogle was in that little cave area, and that can cost you a significant amount of time. So I hope neither of these runners get through that, or have that happen to them, I mean. And taking a quick little bit of time to equip that rune edge instead of the mithril pike before throwing the smoke bomb to get out of the fight. reBarbaloot skipping the security system as well, so he's well on his way. I think he is not going to be picking up the rune edge.
Nope, he bought that extra mithril pike in the Kia, so he'll be double fisting those pikes. We'll see if that catches him up any in the battle against Kefka, but it might just be a little too late.
Yeah, his encounter RNG here is extremely important. It may not be possible now, but we'll see. It could happen. Anything could happen. Eli might get into a fight with the rider or mess up some other thing. He could get extremely bad luck in the Kefka fight. It's still anybody's game, but reBarbaloot really has to push to make this happen.
Yeah, it's close enough where one mistake by Eli and where reBarbaloot does make the same mistake, or just even bad RNG for Eli, and Barbaloot could win this race.
So both of them have a fair amount of talking. reBarbaloot is still in Terra's scenario for a little bit. Eli is out of it. He's in the same place, and they're still talking about the same stuff, but it's a slightly different cutscene at this point.
Fat Man, I don't have a kitty. I have a puppy. I don't know about synth pop.
Yeah, it is very likely that you're hearing my cat. She makes a lot of noise and loves to chew on my microphone.
Oh, I was gonna say my puppy is asleep on the bed, not making any sound. So I'm like, how did you hear that?
Yeah, Fat Man has that cuteness ESP, I guess.
Yeah, the cute star is strong with the Fat Man.
All right, so there's a couple more little dialogue sessions here for Eli as he makes his way up to the snowfields where he will encounter Kefka. reBarbaloot's just trying to mash through until he can get on that same walk up there.
And Eli making a safety save here. Good man.
Yes. Very smart move there. anything could still go wrong for him. So you definitely want to take that save if you don't need to skip it. So yeah, you put Locke in one party or Terra in one party because you don't need her, and Kutan in the other because you don't need it. The important thing is that you have, your 4 best damage dealers in the one party to walk all the way down. They're going to do a similar kind of skipping all these fights on the way down, although it's easier than with the Vomammoths before finally heading down to fight Kefka. I don't know if Eli's got any menuing to do left, but I believe reBarbaloot probably will.
Yeah, I think he's still got to equip the Genji Glove and the Mithril Pike on Edgar. Because I think he just equipped the single Rune Edge. But I could be wrong. And Edgar's in the final fight with Kefka.
Now, if he can keep getting good RNG out of Gao, where Gao does that scissors move, that does a significant amount of damage. But really, you just need to keep doing the wait trick, where you stay in the menu while attack animations are going off. And hopefully you can kill Kefka before he casts Ice 2 and kills your whole party.
Yeah, the goal here is to kill Kefka before he gets his third turn, where he has the chance to cast Ice 2 on the entire party. Now, sometimes someone will live on that, and so really you have to kill him before he gets his 4th turn. But he casts Bolt 2 on Bolt 1 on everybody. So looks like this is yep. This Eli has won with an official SRO race time of 1:32.57, improving their personal best by almost 2.5 minutes. So GG to Eli.
Very good game from Eli. That was an incredible race from him. It was a pleasure to watch. And now we've got reBarbaloot coming up. He's in the middle of the Kefka fight. Just a couple of, maybe a minute off still.
Yeah, he's just a few turns away from finishing the race as well. So it definitely a good close race between these two in the last for the last match of this first round of the Swiss. Oh, and he gets it was only a single. It wasn't the party wide Ice 2. So he only loses Sabin. And there's going to be the end. And reBarbaloot is finished in 2nd place with an official SRO race time of 1:33.53, improving their personal best by just over 2 minutes. So GG to reBarbaloot, both improving their personal best by over 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was a great race. There were a couple of things even in that Kefka fight that went in Eli's favor, that went against reBarbaloot, particularly the scissors, and I believe Edgar got a critical attack on one of those moves, so he ended up doing much more damage than he should have. But this is a fantastic time from both players, honestly, and a great race. It was a pleasure.
Alright guys, so with that, that finishes up round 1 of the tournament here for us. So anybody who's got 1 win is going to be put up against anybody who's got 1 win, and same thing with the people who have 1 loss. They're going to be put up against people with 1 loss. So I'm not sure exactly when our schedule is going to be posted yet for the next set, but we've got that already most likely getting worked on by the admins. And
yeah, it shouldn't take too long, I don't think, for them to figure out who's going to get paired up.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll figure it out pretty quick. And so we've got that coming soon for you guys. Be sure to follow these runners and the commentators from this match. And if you want more information on what this tournament, be sure to go to there you can find out the information. You can find out the upcoming matches as well. And that will tell you guys who's up against who. Hopefully it will be up for sure by tomorrow. So be sure to check that out, and so you can see for your favorite runners when they're running and when to catch their matches. Other than that, we should find somebody to raid here actually that's playing some FF6. So let's go ahead and see if we have anybody.
Yeah, just before I head out, I just wanted to say, a quick thank you to Christopher for helping me with this commentary. That was fantastic, and also Riku Player for the restream. Without people like that, we wouldn't be able to even do this kind of tournament with any kind of visibility, at least. So it's great. Thank you very much for helping.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to Riku Player for restreaming, and to Synth Pops for commentating this with me, and to both of our runners. Please make sure you guys to go and follow them for putting on a really great race for us, closing out this round of the tournament.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and raid Tina. It looks like she's doing a no sketch run, so you'll get to see what this goes into afterward on the Kefka and Narshe section of the game. So yeah, we'll go ahead and raid her. So enjoy her, guys.